Well, round one was a lot of fun, so let's get stuck into round two. We've got the sole American representative in the PDC tour cards. That's Jules van Dongen, the man known as the Dutch Dragon, part American and part Dutch, pretty obviously, and he's facing a Dutchman as well in Kevin Doets. As the two players looking like they're a little bit cold. Jules van Dongen is just blowing on his fingers slightly, and that is something that a lot of players in this tournament are going to have to face up to. It might be early March, but it isn't the warmest temperature outside or in the building. Van Dongen has had an okay start to the year, but last year he was in that kind of annoying space where he was playing quite well, losing 6-5, playing quite well, losing 6-5, and he's up against one of the other young guns in the sport, maybe not as heralded as some of the others, but Kevin Doets has had a few decent runs in the past. So this one should be a pretty close game, Paul.
Yeah, I think it could be. It very well might depend on what scoring performance we get from Doets, because when he finds those scoring boots of his, no pun intended, I wasn't trying to be a poet, I promise, he can be destructive. Now, did Kevin Doets forget his belt? Because he's already pulled his trousers up 4 times.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg, Kevin.
Yeah, they seem to be quite raised, those trousers, almost Simon Cowell-esque. But it is going to be Doets that'll get the game underway.
Well, if there's one person in this tournament who's not going to be affected by the cold, it's going to be Kevin Doets. He lives in Sweden. It gets a lot colder over there than it does here.
Positively tropical in Minehead this weekend. And it's a good start from both players. Hopefully the sign of things to come.
We have seen a few rascal shirts in the UK Open over the years, but this is a glorifyingly rascal piece of brilliance. Look at this thing. It's got a bit of everything.
I mean, you look at the front of it, and you look at the back, and it's like two shirts have been stitched together almost. It's got everything going on. It's very, very intricate.
Yeah, it's like a patch quilt. There he goes. He's got the capability to do this for 11 straight legs, believe me. I've seen him do it over the last couple of years in spells. It's just a question of consistency for Kevin.
94.
He can cause anybody problems. Someone who has made the semi-finals of a Players' Championship before and is yet to really find his consistent best.
84.
But it doesn't mean that his game isn't always somewhere simmering around.
Jules van Dongen has got one of the more unorthodox throws in the sport. There's a lot of moving parts. Kevin Doets is statuesque as he's lobbing the dart, and he's wanting to lob one in the double four. Gets it. It's a solid start to this match.
Second leg, Jules to throw
Kevin
first.
Doets.
Game on.
The man nicknamed Hawkeye, apparently.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like nicknames that don't start with the.
140.
Just call him Dutch Dragon. Too many the's in this sport.
So we just call you Asset then
Yeah,
from now?
that'll do.
140.
Call Phil Taylor just Power. If you want to find yourself a darting nickname, just think a little bit outside the box. Think
42.
Hawkeye's really good. He'll be hoping that we don't need Hawkeye to separate himself from a winning shot and a missing shot. But the winner of this game will take on Radek Zagansky or Krzysztof Kachuk. That is currently 8 legs deep on board number 7. Zagansky currently 5-3 up.
93.
We do have that delicious battle coming up on this board. I have a funny sort of feeling, Dan, as we see another 180 from Doets. 1 per leg so far. He's keeping up the trend. We may even get more people watching the next game than people watching the main stage. Because Rusty Jake against Littler. Oh, delightful.
Well, I mean, everyone will want to keep up the progress of Luke Littler. And there's about 10 dozen Rodriguez's in the family, so they'll all be tuning in. Van Dongen wants tops. And he makes the
shot,
most
that's
after a
second
really
leg.
poor first start. Tidies up very well indeed.
If you're not aware, Jules Van Dongen is very much a fan of the same style of music as Dirk van Duivenbode. He actually had the audacity last April, when walking out at Lakeside, to say that Dirk's music is a bit pedestrian.
58.
He wasn't wrong.
He must have the world's strongest eardrums then.
The only person I know who needs
Pedestrian
earplugs
Dirk.
when he puts his earphones on.
60.
I mean, if that's the case, then Van Dongen surely should be comfortable playing in front of any number of fans. I think he'd be comfortable playing darts at Wembley Arena in that case.
40.
He obviously likes everything loud. Just look at his shirt. Loud shirt, loud music. He wants a loud referee to be calling big scores for him.
You've got the loudest in the business in Russ Bray.
Not his debut, Jules Van Dongen. He did play here last year. Won his first game against Mario van der Brugade. Didn't play particularly well, actually. Only averaged 77, but played better in his second round match and lost to Connor Scott by 6 legs to 3. So maybe a little bit of redemption on the mind for JVD.
58.
As for Doets, this is his fourth consecutive appearance at the UK Open. He's reached the last 96 stage a couple of times.
100.
You look at players of this kind of ilk entering in round 2. As Van Dongen searches for 146, it's not going to go. I'm guessing the key target for them is be in the hat for round 4.
58.
Oh, yeah. When you're playing on Friday afternoon, it's be here again Friday night.
And anything beyond that's a bonus.
40.
It's a bad miss from Kevin.
Jules
Gives Van
require
Dongen a chance to
88.
break. Be part of Friday night. Then figure out that challenge. But Jules, what have you done? Silly boy, going for the treble. Moments like that, guarantee the big single and get a shot at the bullseye.
It's the cardinal sin of darts, missing the big number, and it's been royally punished by Doets.
Full flag, Jules to throw first.
Van Dongen has been playing quite a lot of darts this year. Not just the start of the Pro Tour, but in January when Simon Whitlock was on holiday in Las Vegas, Van Dongen was playing pairs with Simon and was involved in a threes event with Simon and another female as well,
100.
with success.
Some good grounding for 2023, and it's Van Dongen is, I mentioned at the start, he's now the only American that's got a tour card, so a lot of the hopes of that nation are resting upon him, and it is an area of the world where darts really wants to make its big breakthrough, and they need players like Van Dongen to perform well.
Any nation that wants to go forward within a sport needs a flag bearer. Look no further than this man. He is now the flag bearer for American darts on the PDC Pro Tour. Maybe that comes with a little bit of extra pressure in your own mind, but nothing has changed for Jules. He just needs to kick on this year, get a few more wins, get yourself to the World Championship and see what kind of damage you can do in trying to keep your tour privileges by the end of 2023.
You know, it will be a busy year for him because I'm pretty certain he'll go and play in the CDC series as well at points this year. So a lot of transatlantic travelling for Jules.
Yeah, new 3-year deal as well between the CDC and the PDC. That's good news for North America.
This will be good news for Van Dongen if he takes the bull.
105.
Fine margins this sport.
160.
Well, how does he hit this 57? He doesn't.
51.
Basically, that 57 was about 90% blocked.
25.
That only just hit the single 9. How about the double 4?
Game shot in the
Well, it's a
full
great
flag.
visit, but it could have easily resulted in him having 2 darts that he couldn't use.
Steady averages so far, 93 for Jules and 91 for Kevin.
News just in from round number 2. We have 2 players through to round 3. One of them is Radek Sagansky, who will play the winner of this one. And the other one,
60.
one of the players who is dominating column inches for people who are trying to tip this year, Richard Veenstra, 104 average in taking out Jamie Clark. 6 legs to 1. Veenstra, he's going to be a threat if he can get through this afternoon. He obviously likes this kind of tournament, being a former Dutch Open champion. Luke Peters out 6-0 in round 2 to James Wilson. Fair to say that was not a good game of darts, but James Wilson doesn't care right now.
A win's a win's a win, as they say.
81.
And even though we're only 4 legs in, I get the distinct impression this could go all the way. 2 players playing at a very similar standard right now.
Not exactly a different pace either. Just because there's more moving parts to Van Dongen doesn't mean that he takes a great deal of time with what he does.
Yeah, it's a very natural throwing action. Doets looks for double 8 and gets it.
I'm starting to see that a bit more. When someone's on 80 and their opponent is not on a finish, like Jules wasn't there on 166.
96.
Doets going the 16s route. And the people who like double 16 and double 8 are starting to do that more because they don't want to
16.
have any likelihood of busting the shot or doing something silly, like leaving themselves on double 5. I like it. I think it's a good play.
Yeah, if you're confident on double 16 and double 8, why wouldn't you go that route? I think it's a sensible play from Kevin Doets, and even though 80 on paper should be one of the more straightforward 2 darters, you can get blockers, and a lot of players have darts that stick up these days, so the top's bed can be blocked quite considerably.
News in from board number 6. Nathan Rafferty has beaten fellow Northern Irishman Kevin Burness by 6 legs to 2. The young man who a couple of years ago was the runner-up in the World Youth Championship here at Minehead is through to round 3. Currently 4-all between Scotland's Ross Montgomery and Adam Warner, who was the first person to win a game in this tournament. And we're just about to see a game start on board 3 between Mickey Mansell and Jose Justicia.
49.
That could be quite feisty as well.
The man we saw first of all today, Jan van Veen, his game against Scott Waits underway on board 7.
1.
It feels like Van Dongen has been chasing in this game all the time. Some people are comfortable chasing
58.
until they need to hit their straps in legs 10 and possibly 11. You can't be chasing for too long when someone's doing stuff like that,
39.
leaving easier finishes than what you have.
This one might have to go. It's not going to go. So a break
58.
opportunity then for Kevin Doets.
Kevin requires 62.
Another 15. Leaves double 16.
30.
Wide of the mark. Maybe Van Dongen
Jules
does have a
require
chance now.
100.
Gets the treble and now tops. One more chance.
80.
And he's blown it. And maybe this is
Kevin
where
requires
Doets can
32.
establish a bit of an advantage.
What doesn't really look good right there is the margin of the miss for Van Dongen. When Doets misses, it's not by much, but he's not missing there. 4-2 up is Kevin, and the sigh of relief is very evident. When Van Dongen was going for tops there, he was missing by over a centimetre. At this level, that's a big, big miss.
7th leg.
Rueful
Kevin
shake of the
front
head
first.
from Jules Van Dongen. He said he's chasing. He's going to have to do a lot of chasing this year if he is to keep his tour card for 2024. Really struggled to pick up wins in the first half of last year, despite playing some decent darts. Definitely picked up towards the latter end of the year, but he's going to have to play a few TV tournaments, you feel, if he is to keep hold of that card. Kevin Doets is in a better position. He's one of those where he might be on the brink of the top 64 come the end of the year.
It may well depend on how many times he qualifies for the European Tour this year. One of the avenues that can really help you is getting to multiple European Tour events and then getting yourself to the European Championship, which might encourage your overall Pro Tour ranking, getting yourself to the World Championship. If you can get to the Euros, the Players' Championship finals here in November, and the World Championship, you will have a fighting chance of keeping your card at the end of the season.
Jules van Dongen's first 180 is hopefully going to give him a fighting chance in this game. Should go for the bull here. Well, he takes a risk.
Here's the thing, Dan. You knew exactly what he needed to do. He didn't do it, but he's gotten away with it. That's the best I'm going to give him. That was getting away with it. And he's got it again because Doets didn't leave a finish.
Yeah, steady turn here will leave double 16, and it's an immediate break back. Has to shift across.
60.
Again, missing the target by big margins. He was a good 1.5 centimeters north of that 60 twice. Now he can't miss.
71. Requires 72.
Starting on the 16s. That's a good dart. Double 12.
Game shown at
That's a
7th
lovely
leg.
dart.
Jules,
Particularly when it's for a break of throw as well. The last dart in
Jules to
hand.
throw first.
Really
Fighting
good.
spirit from Van Dongen. I've got to give him a 10 out of 10 for it. He might not be playing his A-grade stuff today, but boy, oh boy, is he grafting to stay in this game. Yes, he is. He's going to play a bit more independent events with Simon Whitlock in pairs. If he wants to have the same beard, he's got a lot of work to do. But he's still got a lot of work to do in this match. I've been impressed with Doets at times.
He's beginning to play with a bit of a snarl on the face now, is Van Dongen.
43.
Well, he was, but won't be snarling at 43. I don't think Kevin Doets' facial expression has changed once in the game.
You wouldn't want to play Kevin Doets at cards. He doesn't reveal his hand too much. And he has this stare about him as well. Very similar to Richard Veenstra, where he very barely blinks. He could almost stare laser-like through a wall.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play him at cards. I wouldn't want to have a staring contest with him either.
He's pretty good at darts as well.
I would like a game of musical statues with Jules van Dongen, because he just doesn't keep still, does he? Lots of moving parts in that throw. Bullseye now for Kevin Doets.
Jules require 120.
He has got to make a move here, though. 4 18s in bull. There's 3 of them. He's got the 4. But he doesn't have the centre. No barbecue sauce on the end of that one.
Game shown the 8th
Third
leg.
break of throw in a row, and now Kevin Doets is serving for the match. Missed opportunities for the Dutch Dragon.
Game on.
Tough opportunities, admittedly. He's played pretty well to try and stay with the Dutchman, but you have to say at this juncture that Doets has put himself in a great position to go through to the next round to play Radek Zaganski.
That's the occupational hazard of having a throw like Van Dongen. If the timing is off by the slightest fraction, the dart could deviate and go way left, right, up, down.
Yeah, it could sprinkle ahead anywhere. Because when your shoulders are moving side to side, like his do, and if anything, he's moving to his left, if that timing's off, he's trying to save it by throwing to his right to overcompensate for it, and it could miss by a good half an inch. Whereas if you look at Kevin Doets right now, nothing moves apart from that right arm. Elbow is at a lovely consistent height. It's a beautiful throw.
And he brings the dart dead close to the eye as well. Really has it lined up.
Yeah, very compact. It's quite a graceful follow through as well. There's not a great deal of violence. You would pay a lot of money for that follow through in technique. It is glorious.
Van Dongen not giving up. He needed another treble to get himself onto a finish.
News from board number 8, Adam Warner is gone. He has lost to Ross Montgomery by 6 legs to 5. That's now 5 names into round number 3. It could well be Doets joining Ross Montgomery if he disposes of that 96, but does Van Dongen have another card to play?
Well, it puts pressure on the 96. Where does he go here? Double-double. Oh, and he's missed the big number as well. He's done what Van Dongen did a few legs back. So now 60 for the pendulum to swing once again.
Last thing he needs is a grandfather clock dart. He doesn't even need the third one. So this one goes on a little bit longer, but for how long is very much up to the Dutch Dragon.
Still very much a coin flip game.
I've seen his fellow countryman Danny Baggish come through games like this on board 2 before. And things get pretty animated when you come through games like this, where you've been behind pretty much the whole time. But maybe Doets and those 180s will come to his rescue here in leg 10.
Well, the other American competing, mentioned him, Danny Lorby, a few games ago. He was beaten pretty comfortably 6-1 by Jim McEwen. So it could be a bad day for the Stars and Stripes.
55.
It is a game that they haven't had a massive amount of success in over the course of the last 50 years. They did have the World Match Play champion in 1994 with Larry Butler. So they do have a major champion in PDC darts. They've had some good World Cup campaigns with the likes of Larry and Darren Young, 99. Chuck Paleo. But they may be searching for that one breakout superstar, or it could be someone who's already established who just finds another level. 40. Danny Baggish may come back and find another level. We might see PJ Stewart come through from the youth system and find another level.
Alex Spellman's played some good stuff on the Challenge Tour. Doets doesn't need to go for 167 and sets that up expertly. And now all Van Dongen can really do is just hope and pray that double 16 proves unkind. Too many visits like this where the darts have been 59. Quite a way away from the target.
You require 32.
Come on, he says. Double 8. And maybe things are going to get interesting again.
Things will be very interesting if this gets plugged. Must find the 57.
47.
Doets now should surely book his spot in the next round. But is he scarred by missing in the bottom left of the board 3 times? There's your answer. Not scored at all. He comes through a decent contest. Ultimately, Jules Van Dongen just left himself a little bit too much to do. So he falls at his first hurdle in the 2023 UK Open. But Doets will go forward to take on Radek Zagansky on one of the outside boards. Without further ado, let us look forward to the next game because it will be brilliant. Luke Littler, the 16-year-old qualifier, against Rusty Jake Rodriguez of Austria. It's not too far away.